In today's episode, we are going to learn how to confidently set boundaries. Hey, this is Steph, and welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast. A podcast helping 2S LGBTQI plus people embrace self love and self respect so you can celebrate yourself with pride. In this episode, you'll discover how to set healthy boundaries without guilt, even with close family. Practical ways to stop people pleasing and stay true to your identity. How protecting your pride actually strengthens your self respect and relationships. Today's conversation is about learning how to confidently set boundaries while fully embracing your identity with pride. Hello again, I'm Steph Vachon and I'm a human being. Welcome back to the Together Moving Forward podcast. Embrace your 2S LGBTQI plus identity with pride through self love. No matter where you stand in the 2S LGBTQI plus spectrum, we are all connected. And if you ever struggle to fully love and respect yourself, you're not alone. And this podcast is here to help you. As someone who has navigated my own journey of self acceptance as a queer, I know the power of hearing voices that reflect our experiences. In this podcast, you'll hear real stories and conversations that leave you with practical tools, fresh perspectives, and the confidence to embrace who you are with pride. To start, I need to say that I'm not a psychologist, a specialist, or someone with a college degree. I'm just a regular guy here to share with all of you and support each other. I will share my journey, and we will all share journeys together. We'll learn from each other how to move forward. Today, I'm so grateful to welcome Heather Hester, speaker, coach, and founder of More Human, More Kind. Together, we dive into the real, messy process of unlearning old beliefs, embracing your LGBTQ identity, and setting boundaries that protect your pride without losing your humanity. Heather, thank you so much for being here with us today, and welcome to the Together Moving Forward podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Me too. Your work is rooted in empathy, compassion, and helping people navigate difficult conversations. What personal experiences led you to create More Human, More Kind?
Mm. I love this question because it could go a lot of different directions, but the shortest answer is life experience and life experience with my own child. I actually started my work kind of with a different name. My podcast was a different name. My work was a different name. So my original name for my podcast was Just Breathe, Parenting Your LGBTQ Teen. And that was very much based on parenting my LGBTQ teen. And that work actually started, I was just writing a piece yesterday for Substack 9 years ago today, yesterday.
Wow.
My son came out as gay and I emailed him last night, this long email, and I was like, you having the courage to do that literally changed the trajectory of not just your life, but of all of our lives in the most positive, beautiful, wonderful, messy way. And I think that's probably the short answer for all of the things that I've learned since that day. The way that the things that I have let go of, the things that I've learned, the way that I show up in the world, the way that I show up for other people, the way I show up in my family have all changed because of that one singular moment.
Wow. So you never know, huh? You never know
You
what
never
might
know.
happen. You never know what might happen with what comes up. That's great.
You really don't. It's life is a crazy, wonderful,
Journey.
beautiful
Yeah.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And in your journey, what did becoming more human and more kind requires for you internally before you could offer that space to others?
Mm, a lot of work. A lot of work. I grew up, the home that I grew up in, the family I grew up in was very conservative, very evangelical. And so that is what I was kind of programmed with, for lack of a better way of saying it. But that is what I knew. And that's all I knew really until my early 20s when I moved away and I moved to Chicago and I began to meet a broader group of people and was exposed to life. And over those next, 15 years or so, I really began to not just broaden, but like question and more just had these like, I was taught this, but it doesn't make sense. And I
Mhm.
heard this in my family, but that just doesn't sit right with me anymore. And so when my son came out, it was not a difficult decision for me to choose my son, but it did make me and my husband have this like, it was kind of like a, I don't even know the word I would use or
Or
what
to
to describe
question
it, but
yourself about it.
it really did. I came face to face with
Yeah,
those things that I had just kind of been like, "I don't know."
yeah.
Then I was like, "Oh, I need to figure this out. I need to
Mhm,
understand why I believed that way and work through that and let it go and then
mhm,
learn." So it was this whole practice of coming face to face with each of these beliefs and belief system and things that I had heard and been taught and saying, "Oh, wait, that's not actually right, or that doesn't work for me for this reason."
mhm,
I can let go of it. I can heal from it. And I can like fill myself back up with, oh, here's actual truth. Here are facts. Here are human experiences. And each of those, and it has taken me, I've spent a lot of time really going through this process of unlearning and relearning. And I think that is such an important, I mean, it's part of being a human being, right? And continuing to grow as a human, but it's also part of being this space. I couldn't be a good ally if I weren't willing to do that work.
mhm.
So I feel like that's just part of my responsibility, not only as, my son's mom, but as outspoken ally in this space.
What you say is so true. Like we are taught certain things, right, in our surroundings, and then we grow up and we start asking ourselves questions, and we're like, "Hmm, that doesn't feel right for me." But then I don't know about me. I felt guilty about not thinking the same way that I was taught,
Yeah.
and it is a long learning process to reprogram what you truly think and what you truly are and what you want, right?
Yes.
Instead of what you were taught and what you were told that it should be like this and you should follow this. And yeah, that's so interesting what you just said.
Yeah, it is very true, and I appreciate that you just brought the guilt piece into that because that
Mhm.
is such a big piece of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And and learning that that isn't about you, right?
exactly.
That's not yours to hold on
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Oh, that was good. Many people listening are still learning how to fully accept who they are.
Mm.
What does self love look like in real life beyond the inspirational quotes?
That's such a good one. Um, Self-love is messy. First of all. So it can't be a neat, I mean, the quotes, the inspirational quotes are wonderful and they are helpful to a certain degree, but I think they also do us a disservice in that like learning how to really love who you are means loving all of who you are.
Yeah.
And all of who you are is messy in some places, right?
Yes.
It's not a neat little quote. It's not
Mm.
this like thing that you can put on an index card and tape on your wall. And so I think there's this piece of being like, "Oh, okay, so, like, it's not just loving those pieces of you that you're like, 'Oh, yeah, I am a rock star. I am so
Mhm.
great and fabulous.'" It's also being like, "Oh, well, you know, these are all the bumpy parts of me too that kinda make up how awesome I am," right? So there is some work and some, and I think just, like, being okay with that, like, realizing that everybody has that. It's not just you.
Exactly. We're all
Yeah.
human. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you go.
there you go. That's how you do it.
It's so true because, and that's the hard part though, is to accept the things that are less attractive, or the things that, the mistake that we can do or whatever. But it's so important to accept that. And it's a learning process. It's always a learning process, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, and I think too, as I'm saying that, I think, it's also super easy for me to say that to you right here. But then if we both sat here and got quiet for a moment and we thought, like, what is the thing that I like least about myself? It'd be really uncomfortable. Right. And it's hard to be like, oh, I really don't like that about me. But that's also part of what makes me me. And I accept that. That's really hard to do.
Yeah. And there's days that are much harder, there's days that are much easier.
A thousand
And
percent.
yeah, we have to accept the hard days too and take a deep breath and think that it's gonna move on. It's okay. Yeah.
That's right. You're having a very human moment, right? It's just, okay, this is a human moment.
There's often a fine line between being compassionate towards others and staying true to yourself. I love that
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
How did learning to set healthy boundaries change the way you relate to people and to yourself?
Mm. Oh my gosh. It is quite possibly one of my most favorite, most recent lessons that I've learned, or I feel like, "Oh, I finally got it," Years and years and years ago before, it like 10, 15 years ago, I remember having a conversation with a friend, and I was a serial pleaser, and I would say yes to everything.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Heather, you need some boundaries." And it was the first time anybody had ever said that to me, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, that's just how I was like that was like how I was programmed. Like, you say
Uh-huh.
yes to everything and you twist yourself in knots to make it happen, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And that's always stuck with me because I was like, and she's, still a very good friend of mine, and we laugh about it because I'm now at this space, which is like 180 degrees from that. But even in the past few years of really consciously thinking about what does it mean to be a continue like the pieces about myself that I love, right? That I am loving, that I am compassionate, that I try to see the human in every person. And and we come against things that are just tough, right? And we have people in our lives that are tough. And so, how do we, if we so choose to stay in those relationships or have a relationship or situationship or whatever you want that to be? Well, boundaries have to be put into place to make that happen.
Mhm.
And I had somebody, I'm going to totally mess up the way this saying goes, but somebody had said this to me a couple of weeks ago, that like, the best way to sometimes the best way to love someone is from afar, and essentially like setting that boundary of like in order for us to stay in contact or
Mhm.
connection or relationship, there has to be distance, whether that is physical distance or virtual distance. We only talk once a month instead of once a week, or I can come visit you once a year, right?
Mhm.
And that often comes after a lot of back and forth of like, here are my values, here are the things that are important to me.
Mhm.
They are not aligning with what is important or the way that you are behaving in the world. And
Mhm.
so how do you set those boundaries that are respectful to you, but also where you feel like, and this is going to look different for everybody, but where you feel like I am being compassionate. I am showing compassion to this person because they are being, you know, they are showing the capacity that they have for,
Yeah.
right? And that is a hard hard thing to do. I mean, I still there are times I still really struggle with, there's a lot of nuance there. And one of the most helpful things uh, a coach ever said to me was, you don't have to make a decision right this minute that's going to be forever. You
Yeah.
just have to make a decision that's for the next thing, right?
Mhm.
The next meeting, the next time you're speaking with this person or seeing this person, right? And I was like, oh, so helpful, right? It takes off so much pressure.
No, I like that what you just said. Yeah, because I tend to make my decisions like until the end of my life, you know? And
Right.
that is so much easier what you just said. Yes.
And I think it makes it easier too to have compassion for that person, right? I'll speak less vaguely and just say that in this instance, I'm speaking about my parents who are very, very difficult people. They do not affirm my children. We could not be have more differences in the way that we believe on
Mhm.
every front. And yet I have my personal choice has been not to go no contact, even though I probably have every right in the world to do so. But so what do I do, right? What are the things that I put in place so that I can sit and have compassion for the fact that gosh, it's just sad to me that they believe that way, right? That
Mhm.
it's sad to me that they don't see the beauty in who my children are or beauty in the Bad Bunny performance on Sunday, right? Like the things that they just and I can but I have been able to and I have done the work to be able to hold that and say, yes, I can have compassion for them. And I can also say, we aren't going to talk that often. I love you, but I love you from afar.
But it all comes down to you have to protect yourself and your family
Oh,
first. You know,
1,000.
that I think that's the most important thing. And do you find that it's well, I think you just said it, but for myself, it's so much harder with people that are close.
Yes.
That was like you were saying recently. I mean, for me, it is like I'm on my last miles of really, putting my boundaries with people that are really close to me. That was the hardest for me. Like it was so hard because I just felt that I had to be loyal no matter what.
Yes.
But then it's like, no, because when you have that gut feeling inside and you feel like when you're gonna see those people, or you're gonna talk to them,
Oh,
and you feel like, that
yes. Like
gut
you're
feeling.
dying inside. Yeah.
Yes, and I don't want that anymore because
No.
then if I keep being there and my boundaries are still putting on the side, well, I'm start resenting them, and then I start being angry at me
Right.
because,
Right.
why did I wait that long? And then I will try not to, but I will erupt into, this volcano will erupt, and I don't want that. That's the last thing I want to do. But
Exactly.
so I think I'm not cured yet, but it's like getting so much better. But that was really hard to do with the people that were close to me the
Yeah.
most. Like
I think
really
that
hard.
is they're the most the most difficult, right? And that's kind of why I shared that example because it's a lot easier to set a boundary with a person that you don't see very often or perhaps you have a work relationship with or like a volunteer relationship with, but when it's a family member, it's a heck
Yeah.
of a lot more difficult. And I think too I love that you brought up that loyalty because I think that is really what keeps us going back, right? Even
Yeah.
even when we know that we are betraying ourselves,
Mhm.
we go back because we that loyalty is so strong. Like that is literally in our DNA. And so that takes a long time to be able to say, like in a healthy way, be like, nope, I I matter.
Yeah. In a healthy way, like you just said. I think it's easy to also what you said to start with people we don't see that much, or we don't even people. Yeah, you will see at work once in a while or whatever, and there's little things that are bugging you, or they're not working with you with your boundaries anymore. I think that's the way to start with,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
practice there because
yeah,
it's not as big of a deal if you mess up or if you're like, "Ooh, I wish
uh,
I would have said that differently."
yeah,
Yeah.
good. If someone listening feels like they've been shrinking themselves to make others comfortable, what would you want them to hear today?
I would want them to hear, oh my goodness, like the merger of every single question you've asked
Yeah.
me, right? That you matter, that don't, like, kind of like what we just said, that don't
Mm,
betray yourself when you start to feel your self shrinking, which I am so familiar with that feeling. I still feel that from time to time, and I have to catch myself and think, no, this isn't okay anymore. Right. And I think we all, that shrinking feeling, we all feel it in different ways and we all
mhm,
react to it in different ways. And so, whatever your feeling is that lets you know that's where you're going, like just become more aware of that. And then take that and find when I stay really connected to me. So, really like thinking about what is important to me? What do I feel in my body? Like, what am I feeling in my heart and my just my soul and my body? That is such a guiding thing for me.
mm.
Yours might be, your mind. It might be other sensory things that let you know that you're really connected with yourself. But try to have the awareness to catch that when you start feeling that, like, oh, that awful shrinking feeling, and just click back into you. And that will help you either just put a protective barrier around yourself. So whether it's you just end the conversation and walk away, or you make a statement, or whatever, again, is aligned with who you are and how you walk through this world, do that.
Great. Yeah, that would be great for would you have like an example for somebody in our community? They would be shrinking for whatever reason because they have to either hide from their family, hide from the workplace, or I mean, that would be the same thing, right?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes. And I think, probably a good example of that would be, and I've watched my two kids do this to different in different ways. When they have been around, I'm sure this has happened in their lives when I haven't been around too, but when they've been around family members who
Mm.
either are not affirming, or even those who just say stupid things and they don't mean to be hurtful or harmful, they just aren't thinking and they
Yeah.
say dumb stuff, right? And I can see, you know, over the years, I could see them like start to do that thing where they just like either they stop talking,
Mhm.
or we all know what it feels like to shrink, right? So just that feeling that comes. And I've seen my son, what he will do is he starts speaking. So he just gets like, it kind of brings out like the most confident. Now it's taken him a while to get there, but like that really confident part of him that he almost like, I don't want to I he becomes a little more flamboyant, I guess is the best way, just to like you have made me feel not great by your statement.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be exactly who I am, and just like comes out and just glows, and he is just like this beautiful, saying all the things and being his beautiful self. My daughter is a little more quiet about it, and she it doesn't get to her as much. She's kind of like, "Whatever, like, I'm just kind of done with you." So she will just take herself out of the conversation. So something is said, and it's very subtle for her,
Mhm.
where she'll, whether she excuses herself, or I've heard her say, "That's not okay," and turn around and walk away. So, subtle, not so subtle, right? She, like,
Mhm.
kinda sticks it to him and walks away, but she takes herself out of whatever the situation happens to be.
I think we can practice that in advance too. Like think of situations that that happened before that you made you shrink, and then practice, okay, what am I going to say or do
Right.
the next time, and
Yes.
without being disrespectful, right? Because I think we
Exactly.
want to put our boundaries and say no, that's not okay or whatever, but you still want to be in peace. You don't want to be, erupting and be screaming, and because after that you're going to feel bad, you know.
Right, you are.
So
And I think that I'm always very aware of what could be turned on me,
mhm.
right? What would I say that would make my father say, "Oh, you're acting crazy?"
Yeah.
I'll just put it that
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very conscious of the way that I stay very calm. If I feel like I'm getting like I can feel it building up inside of me and, I feel the tears coming sometimes, like what I have to do to be like, just I'm not going to give him that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because not only does that not help you in that situation, it also doesn't it they aren't ever gonna see it. The Nothing that comes out of your mouth are they going to hear or see, right?
Mhm.
And so the best possible thing that you can do is stay calm, and whether it's speak your piece, excuse yourself from the conversation, and I love that idea of practicing it ahead of time. I mean, give yourself the scenario and, like,
Yeah.
the 5 different ways it could play out or the 5 different ways you'd like to see it play out, right? And what feels best to you? What's most authentic to who you are and how the person that you are, and let that be what you do. Don't let them dictate how you show up.
Yes, and I'm gonna add recent thing that happened to me is that I had to put a really big boundary with someone, and I decided I was gonna take my time. So I said, "You're not gonna hear from me for a while. I need to reflect on this. I need to think about it." And it took me a long time, and I wrote what I wanted to do and say, and I went back to it. I went back to it, changed it. I wanted to be so much in peace
Mhm.
when it was gonna be time to say what I had to say, and in a calm way, like you said, because there were so many times in the past where I erupted and I felt so bad
I
about
know.
doing that, and I don't wanna do that anymore. So I think it's really good to do a step back as long as you need to also practice, think about it, and then when it feels good, when it feels good, and it
Right.
feels that you're gonna be true to yourself and you're gonna be in a respectful way, I think that's when, and then it's time. But it takes practice. It's taking me a lot of practice.
So much practice, right? I mean, oh, yes, that the number of times that I have cried and that I have been, like, just unintelligible, anger has come out of me. So certainly this all comes from lots of life experience and
Yeah.
practice. And I think too, there is a difference when you are speaking up and advocating for yourself and when you're speaking up and advocating for someone else, and even how that feels in your body. So
Mhm.
I think there are, different ways we can look at, how we wish to respond. And I like too that you said there's no rule that says you have to respond right away.
Mhm.
Take your time. I mean, in some ways, that's like so much better because if you say, I need some time to respond to this and
Yeah.
remove yourself from the situation, I mean, if that other person has a conscience, that's weighing on them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, Heather, that was great. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I really like the boundaries approach you had, and it's going to help me a lot. And your website and all the work you're doing is going to be in the bio of this episode.
Yeah.
So, people want to get in touch with you, they're more than welcome.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. This was a really fun conversation.
Great. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap up, let's bring it back to what really matters. Today, we learned how to set healthy boundaries without guilt, even with the people closest to you, how to stop people pleasing and stay true to your identity, and how protecting your pride actually strengthens your self respect and your relationships. This is a reminder that you don't have to shrink yourself to be loved or accepted. You get to take space, honor who you are, and choose what feels right for you. Keep showing up as your full, authentic self. I'm always looking for inspiring guests for the podcast, and I would love to have you or someone you know share your journey with pride. The world needs your story. It has the power to change lives, and your voice matters. Reach out and send me an email today. Also, I'm now booking keynote speaking engagements. My talk is From Survival to Self Love: How I Finally Learned to Embrace My LGBTQ Identity with Pride, and how you can too. Details at togethermovingforwardpodcast.com under speaking. It is already time to say au revoir just for now. Join me every Monday for brand new episodes of the Together Moving Forward podcast and learn how to embrace your 2S LGBTQI plus identity with pride through self love. Wherever you're from in the world, we are all connected. Remember, solidarity beats hate. The more we unite, the stronger we become. Because at the end of the day, we are all equally human and we all deserve the same rights. Before we close with our weekly positive thought, I want to tell you what this one personally means to me, especially for this episode. I am deserving of respect and kindness. For me, this means remembering that I don't have to earn respect by overgiving, over explaining, or staying silent when something doesn't feel right. It means trusting that my voice matters, that my boundaries matter, and that I am allowed to take up space exactly as I am. It also means choosing myself, even when it's hard, even when it feels uncomfortable, and even when it challenges old patterns. And if you take one thing from today, let it be this: you are deserving of respect and kindness too. Not because of what you do for others, but simply because of who you are. Now is the time to put your hand on your heart and repeat after me. Yes, you and me together this week, positive thoughts. I am deserving of respect and kindness. Yeah, I am deserving of respect and kindness. From shame, guilt, silence, and rejection to pride, freedom, healing, and love. Together moving forward. Thank you so much again for being here with me today and for sharing this journey of growth and love. I truly appreciate you. See you next week. Ciao. Do you know anyone in the LGBTQ plus community who feels disconnected from their true self, wishing they could embrace their identity with confidence and pride? Share this episode now and help them step into self-love and self-respect so they can truly celebrate who they are with pride, feel empowered, and make a real difference in our community.